We're on.
Good morning, folks. How are y'all doing? This is August the 20th, 2020. Sam Satterwhite, the old man at Satterwhite Log Homes here, and Danny Grizzle, the guy that's usually the one behind the camera, is in front of it today. We got some kind of neat stuff to talk about, and got an old buddy of mine guest that's going to step in here in just a few minutes. Danny? You didn't go to the restroom. No, come on. Are you ready? All right.
So I'm still running a little tech back there.
Those of you that watch this every Thursday, I think you've noticed that we begin with something a little bit different, but it's a statement of beliefs for our company. And let me go over that real quick. Anybody that doesn't agree with it, you're welcome to watch something else this morning. We at Satterwhite Log Homes are Christians. We're not ashamed of our faith. We kneel to God only and to no man. We love America. We stand proudly for the pledge and for our national anthem. We're proud of our flag, our military, our law enforcement, our first responders. We revere our founding fathers and our Constitution, and we will fight to the death for our families, for our country, and for our God. We've had some good comments about that.
Yeah.
I get them just on the street, Danny.
Yeah.
But
I've heard things here in the room. People might not realize that this room is our showroom, and I wonder what the problem is here. Well, we've already got technical difficulties. No.
Is the camera not on, or we just don't have the monitor for it? All right, while Danny's getting that corrected, is everything else working, Danny? Do you think?
I'm not explaining why we don't have picture right now. Belita, you hit the
Okay.
button.
Wish
Okay.
somebody would let us. There we go. There we go. Okay.
Somebody accidentally pressed the fade to black button back there.
Okay.
So we darked out for a minute.
Okay. Well, that's, in my case, that's probably a good thing. Hey, free delivery. And, you know, I was going to talk about some of the gimmicks in our industry, and free delivery is one of those. But Danny wants to carry that a lot farther, and it's going to be really interesting this morning, talking about the things that he's going to be bringing up. But let me just say, free delivery is a gimmick that some folks in the log home industry use, and you know, anybody knows there is nothing free. You're paying for it, whether it's in the price of the product, the home, or as a line item. Whenever we send you material. Well, we choose to tell you exactly what everything is, so that's a line item with us. You're welcome to pick up here or in Ellijay, Georgia, or Chama, New Mexico, or Gunnison, Utah. If you can get it hauled cheaper, or you have your own truck, trailer, whatever you need to do your own hauling. But you know, there are several things, gimmicks that companies use. The free delivery is one of those. And let me just say something, Danny. One thing I'm proud of today, and this just has jumped up in the last few days, but we don't have any of our trucks running on Goodyear rubber, and we're not going to be. We are some of the folks that are now anti-Goodyear. And if you want an explanation of it, just give me a call and I'll be delighted to explain to you the whys. If a company doesn't stand up for us, then we do not use their products. Simple as that. Okay, one of the other gimmicks, and Danny's well aware of this one, is the deal. One company in particular, free garage. Well, they've been running this free garage deal for years. Well, there's not a free garage. It's part of the deal. You're paying for it. I can assure you're paying for it, and always have been. But that's just that's one of their sales deals. And you know, every once in a while we will see companies discounting dramatically Well, to be able to do that, if they're going to stay in business, they had to inflate the price to be able to discount over just a very few percent. We can't discount because we're not, we don't have a bunch of fat built into our homes and our products. If you're a veteran, we'll talk to you about that. We'll bid something as cheaply as we can. And we do offer some veterans discounts at different times. Now, right now, we just can't because lumber products, plywood are going through the roof. And so we're having to grit our teeth to be able to hold any prices, much less raise them, and we sure can't discount right now. Having said that, Danny, why don't you talk to us about the part that logistics plays in our business and nearly any business?
I printed out the email you sent to the salesman this morning about the situation with lumber pricing, because I don't know if there's ever been a time maybe like this. No,
lumber prices have gone up faster and higher than any point in the 46 years I've been doing this, and it's this COVID deal has got something to do with it, and greed has got a lot to do with it. But the cost of commodity lumber products that we have to buy and plywood have gone up. A lot of them have gone up over 100% in the last 30 to 45 days. It is horrific. It's tough for us just to keep up with how fast things are going up. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Go ahead, Danny.
I think it's probably my fault that we blacked out a little bit ago. I'm trying to switch the program off this iPad over here, and boy, you just breathe on it or something and you can press the wrong button. So I'll try to pay closer attention. But, it's kind of hard on me to get the pictures ready for these things, because I'll go back through, I've been around a while myself now, and you get to see in these pictures that I go through to look for something to show folks, and it gets pretty moving to reminisce a little bit.
It ought to be pretty moving, Danny. I get to see pictures of you when you were young, and you sure did look a lot better back then.
So, one of the ideas of us doing this, these live streams, and is to really expose people to the facts of the matter, and not abuse people with this pretend information that there's any such thing as free delivery. And maybe we'll ask the Mac guy what those new trucks cost a little bit, and we'll see if they're going to be free, if he'll chip in on our free delivery. No, but that's the spoiler alert. There is no free delivery. So we do want if I've heard you say once, I've heard you say 1,000 times, our goal is to sell a lot of houses at a real tight margin and not get by inflating huge prices and playing those kind of games. So we try to be very transparent here. And the idea for this show came up today because we got involved in a logging solution for our truck drivers. And so these people are real to us. We know their names, we know their families, we've known their parents, we've been to their families' funerals and the births, and so just like a lot of us here at Satterwhite, we've been around a long time, and so they're going through some changes right now. Specifically what happened was our, well, I'll jump into some of this. I could talk too long, and you're good at shutting me down, so when the time comes, do it. But I'm a big Ken Burns fan, and one of his documentaries, he talks about we've all seen incredible change in our lifetimes, and he put number one on the list of since the Civil War, perhaps, or in the last century, is the mechanization of agriculture. That has. If you took, at the time of the Civil War, maybe 95% of all the population of the United States were involved in agriculture, and now it's like 2% of the people out there. So just like Sam, a lot of us, we say grace over meals, and he gets emotional about these things. I get emotional about these things too, about this product. When I look at the sawed-off end of a log, and you're looking at time there, those tree rings, everything about this is, to me, these log homes are almost a sacred product. We partake of it like with something that's maybe missing in our country right now is a great deal of gratitude. The gratitude that we note when we pause to say grace before a meal, and these things that we are about to receive. And so when these homes get built, this is the bounty of the earth that's provided for us. And so it's not just a business, it's a spiritual. It's moving beyond all that. All right.
Now wait a minute, don't make people think that we're earth worshipers or something like that.
No.
I'm messing with you, Danny, you know that.
No, and I know. So, I mentioned Ken Burns and the big changes that have taken place in the earth and mechanization of agriculture and how we're all freed to do things and how the gratitude. But one of the things that's invisible to people that I think even is the incredible efficiency, unbelievably efficient, how efficient the distribution system is. I know that all my family here in East Texas were dairy farmers. And the plain fact of the matter is, you can produce milk in Wisconsin and bring it to Longview cheaper than you can bring milk from Gilmer to Longview now. Yeah. That's the efficiency of things. So I'm gonna switch to just not to get too much into all the, but just to talk about logistics out there, and I need a remote. Okay. This was all tested in advance. I'll switch back to us. There we are.
Okay.
Okay. I hit the wrong button on this tablet. But, part of the containerization of cargo, as recently as World War II, people were loading ships with cargo nets, and men would carry bags of things, and stevedores would be walking up ramps and putting things. And now these great ships are sailing the oceans and loading these containerized cargo. There's zero pilferage and all this kind of stuff that used to be horrible at ports, and just moving the commerce of the world away, around the world. One thing I was going to note, and I mentioned to Sam, is all this equipment, this port handling. It's not just logistic, but the materials handling. And a man here in Sam's parents were school teachers. Yeah. My dad worked for a man here in Longview named R.G. Letourneau. And Letourneau built the world's first, he did earth-moving equipment. He was the earth-moving contractor on the Golden Gate Bridge. He built the world's first offshore oil platform. And the third thing he did was played a big role in this materials handling equipment for cargo, intermodal transportation, showing in the containerization going to rails and truck and everything. So that level of sophistication and efficiency, the point of this show is that kind of thing has hit Satterwhite, even our trucking fleet. The federal motor, I'm having a squint. I could have moved that monitor closer. But
Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, Danny.
I've
got my glasses.
Somebody got your glasses. So that's become a huge deal for Satterwhite drivers, and the technology is there, and these electronic driving logs, and that's been the law for several years now. Yeah. And but the company that we had implemented initially went out of business less than a week ago, and we were forced at high speed to come up with a different solution, and that's. I got involved with it because it's technology, and I do technology things around here. And I'm almost sorry I got involved in this, Sam. It's stressful. It's stressful for everybody to be to face change, and the drivers. I think that they're pretty stressed out, and I wanted to mention to the customers. Because those guys tend to be just like the people who grow our food. There are the people who enter those containers and everything. They're invisible to most folks, but They deserve to be appreciated. Our drivers here at the company, they are reliable as the sun coming up, and usually almost always beat the sun coming up. They're here at all hours of the morning to start the things. And so, yeah, just wanted to say a few things about how they interface. But unfortunately, these electronics are watching those drivers to the same degree that those cargo vessels and every serial number of every device inside those things, they've got Big Brother all over them.
Yeah.
And it could be good or bad. You know, I realize that those laws have to do with safety, but it also has some impacts on the way we schedule and how we deliver and
sure it does. We have to be really careful in scheduling our drivers so that they have the hours to get to a job site and hopefully to get back without having to spend the night as much as possible.
So there's
and let me just mention, Dan, you were probably going to get to it, but a good flip side to this is that Mr. Jones can call in about his delivery that's going to be made at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and our sales staff or logistics guy or dispatcher can look and tell exactly where that truck is and how long is it going to be before he's at the Jones location.
Yep. I'm hoping to show something. So you've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've just rolled this out. You just came in. You were in Florida on family vacation last week. So this is.
Nobody needs to know that I take vacations, Danny.
Well, you don't really.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we'll deal with the free delivery, but I just wanted to go into, actually, this is the point where I did want to take and do a little bit of I'm going to jump out, because this is live. We'll jump out of the show here for a second, and we're going to see live and in real time what the Satterwhite delivery fleet might be doing out there. And this particular truck, we're looking at this on Google Earth. And of course it's lunchtime, and that's the difference between the Satterwhite employees are short haul drivers. They're doing deliveries. We're going to kind of take a look at the whole logistics picture of your Satterwhite log home.
All right, let me just tell you from what you're showing there, obviously that truck is on our scales being weighed right now.
Yeah. Yeah. We can find things on the yard here. Well, it's going to refresh, isn't it? Let's see if we can't find a truck. And I haven't got this fully implemented everywhere, but I'm going to see one. We see one that's supposed to be moving here. We'll see what's happening.
It doesn't show a picture of the driver's face, does it?
No, and don't suggest that, boy. So here's a truck that's supposed to be moving right now, but he's on the yard too. He's back.
He's already back. Great. He wanted to see that brand new truck that East Texas Mac is delivering just a few minutes ago.
That's a constant. First thing Sam said to me was that was an old truck on the title slide. It's a real old truck. Yeah. So we don't have anybody moving out there, but it's interesting because this thing is real time. We can see which lane of the freeway that truck is in pretty accurately most of the time, and within 5 seconds we can see when he stopped at a light and everything. And the drivers are coming to terms with all this, I hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe we'll check back on that later if we don't just go too horribly long, which I'm sure we will. But let's just run through and talk about logistics here, because from the I hate for any episode of this thing go about without us mentioning dead standing timber, because the fact that our trees come from the Rocky Mountains for very specific reasons, because killed by nature in a dry climate where they're dry, that has a lot of implications on transportation in this company. It's one of the, not only is delivery not free, it's one of the major expenses, operational expenses here, I'm certain.
Yeah.
Look at all this dead timber.
Hey, one of the things though that's really neat, Danny, is the fact that our unit cost of freight is relatively low because of using dead trees and the wood is so light that we can pack a heck of a lot more on a truck than you could of most KD kiln-dried lumber, or certainly any kind of green lumber.
Right. Somebody else looking at this that didn't factor that we're not hauling water would just say there's no way they can compete, but we can compete very effectively.
Big time, yeah.
All over the country. I mean, there's tens of thousands. Satterwhite's been in business for many decades, closing in on 50 years. And so...
Do I look that old?
Look at this. This is it'll be fall in the Rockies very shortly. Of course, we carry all kinds of products. We don't harvest aspen ourselves. We attain it. I've got so many pictures. You hardly find an aspen that doesn't have somebody's initials in it.
Yeah, if it's next to a road, that's true.
And I've gotten into this one. Somebody carved their initials in 1902. My great-grandfather was trying to settle in Payette, Idaho, on the Oregon Trail about 5 years before that, and he was cutting his own trees, same timber, up in the mountain for a log home, hauling them down with his horses and wagon, and broke his leg. So things have changed with logistics since that guy carved that message right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's just a phenomenal amount of timber out there, and this is the story of how this company moves it.
Some of it by helicopter, yeah.
Once in a while, mainly by skidders and on ground transportation in the days. We're at altitudes above the ski resorts, so the days in that 90-day window when the snows allow us to be up on the very tops of the mountains, we are going almost around the clock, almost around the clock. Just truck after truck after truck. And look at those log decks back there. I didn't really, the seasons affect us. This is, and we're entering at the end of it's hot summer now, and the fires are going to start. This is the mountains on fire with wildfire up there. We're part of the remediation for that. And these trucks are rolling. This is on into the fall.
All right. Look at any one of these log trucks that Danny is showing you. If that were southern yellow pine logs here, anybody well, especially the weight guy for the highway patrol, he'd look at that and say, that's 150,000 pound truck, trailer, and load. What we're hauling right there is something less than 80,000 pounds.
Right.
So it's amazing how much volume we get on our log trucks as well as over-the-road trucks too.
I've heard you say 100 times that we run out of the legal dimensions out of room on the truck before we ever hit the weight limits. That's how light these, and light is what you want. That means it's cured in seasoned wood. It's great news. So I've just, that's our sawmill in Utah, the scales. He's going across the scales, a tandem rig. I mean, when it's the season when we get timber off those mountains, it's all hands on deck.
We have to get it, yeah.
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 And even some of this, I was on this, of course I made these pictures so I remember what the circumstances were, but a lot of times we're on timber sales at various national forests, and the economies of transporting this stuff all the way to the mill, which these might be quite distant. I believe this was a truck in from Rifle, Colorado, heading to Utah.
Yeah.
And so we'll operate collection yards at the bottom of the hill just to get them down out of the snow range, and then we can truck them on the highway system all during the year.
Yeah.
So it's the logistics of this thing it's a marvel to behold, really. There they are, ready to go again. I mean, the second leg, they stack those and they're back up on the mountain. They're running empty, of course, one way. It's a different kind, special trucks, special equipment in every way. Those can't be operated over the road. But this is kind of our transition to the second phase of logistics. After that wood's been through the sawmill, and we've covered that in other episodes of this, or we will again and again. But this shows logs coming off the mountain. At the same time, we use contract over the road carriers significantly. That's a triple L truck there in the back.
In the back, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's the finished product that they're loading to come to the warehouses in various parts of the country, but principally in Longview. I don't know. I just said put in one of your old Colorado trucks.
Boy, I hate your showing that. That was my old favorite. That was the 82 KW. David, walk around behind here, and I'll introduce you in a minute. That was an 82 Kenworth that I bought from Jay Knight, who's one of my best friends, and we were just on the phone to him right before we came on the air. But lot of history. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not in the entire fleet. We've seen a lot of trucks beside that, but Sam and whatever drivers were on hand, I didn't make this picture, but y'all got a picture made on the yard.
And I hate to tell you, the one on the left, that Pete with the sleeper, that's the one that got totaled about 4 weeks ago, and we're waiting on an insurance settlement so that I hope I'll have one of the first Mack log trucks in central Utah. They're not popular there because we don't have a dealer real close, but they're wonderful trucks for that application.
Just more, you know, the over-the-road guys and this thing goes, he's on the scales there. Just this operation is going. Look at those mountains. Everybody who's had almost everyone who's had a Satterwhite home, I'd say in the last 20 years, this is the route from the mountains. Almost every log. Look at that 18-wheeler down there on Interstate 70, just coming up the hill.
I use this photo, Danny, you know that, in all our seminars just to explain to people that I've got the best job in the world because I get to experience the most beautiful parts of this country.
You know, how remote is this out here? Look at that landscape behind it. When you enter the freeway at Salina, Utah, heading east towards Longview, there is a sign that says, no services for the next 120 miles. That means you won't see a house, you won't see an electric light bulb, and you can see forever out
No
there.
gas station.
No gas station. You better turn around and fuel up.
Yeah.
We've got another type of trucking that we handle internally with our own guys, and that is staging materials at the various warehouses at different operations and offices of the company. So this is one of our trucks from Longview taking material to our Georgia office.
That's the Georgia office in the background, and just out of sight in the foreground was the warehouse that we're offloading that truck into.
Right. So there we are. You know, that's probably old.
Not too old. Not too old. We still have both of those trucks.
This week.
All right. and I tell you what, I wanted Danny to stop at this picture and introduce my buddy David Caroom. He's our sales rep with East Texas Mack. A company that's near and dear to my heart. I consider everybody there friends. I was telling David a little earlier, he's only been with the company a few years, but I bought my first new Mack in 1977.
Wow. I was 5.
43 years ago, and I was middle-aged.
You were middle-aged. just to show you, thank you for having me, Mr. Sam, but just to show you your timeline versus mine, you said I've only been with them a few years, and I've been there 25, but again, that's nothing compared to your timeline here at Satterwhite Homes. But you've been doing business with us for almost our entire existence, which is 40 years here in over 40 years here in Longview, Texas, and we appreciate that very, very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you, David. I am almost a Mack fanatic, and I'm a little bit embarrassed that most of the pictures that Danny showed has shown Pete's and KW's and Utah, a couple of internationals here, but we go with Mack as much as we can, and any of our full-size trucks that we own on this end of our operation are Macks. Most of them are manufactured in Pennsylvania still, is that right?
That's correct.
And
the Mack truck brand is still the only truck 100% assembled here in the United States. And the Volvo brand is also, which is the sister company to Mack trucks. And so over 100 and gosh, I think almost 20 years now in Allentown, Pennsylvania, building heavy-duty trucks for the U.S.
Yeah, David is here not because of this broadcast, but he just came right after a brand new 2020 Mac was delivered to us. We're wrapping up the sales, the papers on that now, and I have no idea how many Macs we have had, or we got 6, 7, 8 of them right now. But I'm proud of our relationship. I'm proud to have a truck that is tough as Macs are. You know, years ago, David, I was in a wreck. I was driving a Mac in front of the old Cowboy Stadium.
Yes, sir.
There at 183 and what's the other highway?
114.
114. And a lady pulled out in front of me from the on-ramp. I had a barrier in the median to my left. I couldn't go anywhere. And she pulled in front of me off the ramp, throwing her brakes on, and I had no choice but just nailed the crap out of her Buick. Well, she and the lady with her, they took them to the hospital, just very, very minor injuries, mainly in scuffling, trying to get out of the car.
Yes, sir.
After the wreck. Well, I'm going to be a nice guy, and I called her the next day to see how she was doing, and immediately she said, well, you know, I've always heard the saying about how it feels to be run over by a Mack truck, and I know how it feels. All right, I did just like you, and I laughed. Ooh, that made her mad.
Well, we're lucky to represent a brand that's iconic like that is referenced in sayings, and when people see the MACK, whether it's in their coming down the road at them or they see it in their rearview mirror, they instantly know what it is and what that bulldog means. And it just like I know how proud you are of the product you produce. It's nice to represent a product that has as much respect as the Mack truck brand has in the United States. I
had one last little thing I got to tell you, David. Several years ago, you know our mechanic Bruce Satterwhite, and of course he's been around here a long time, but my old Mack dump truck I keep out at the ranch, the bulldog had come loose and fallen off the hood, and we lost it. So I told him, get me another bulldog. I didn't know I had to tell him which kind of bulldog to get. And the next time I go over there and see the bulldog, it's got a silver dog on the front of the. That is an insult to a Mack person, because a silver dog means that some of the drivetrain is not Mack. It correct. May be a Cummins engine or whatever, but if it's a gold dog, it's a Mack all the way through. It's an
all Mack product. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And those the vendors that we use are building great products, but there's still a lot of loyalty to an all Mack product, an all Mack powertrain.
I love gold dogs.
Yes, sir. Me too.
All right, Danny, are we kind of wrapped up?
I wanted to say one more thing about the driver aspect of this.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
And we'll cut back to show our guys. I mean, that's one of the we've got 2 new Mack trucks currently, and more on the maybe more on the way. They're looking.
We got two 2020s just like that. Our drivers are crazy about them, and I really like them. And hey, you see that gold dog on the hood? That says a lot.
Yes. And they got automatic transmissions now, I understand.
I can't believe I was convinced to buy something with an automatic in a big truck. But David convinced me, and that's maybe the best move we've ever made in our trucks. But, you know, here that was Robert Reynolds in the previous one. This next one is Derek Kewen. And then I don't know if we got old Eric on there or not. He just got in last night late from taking a load to LJ, Georgia, and then reloading at Dalton, Georgia, and brought us a bunch of lumber back in. We were unloading first thing this morning. But these guys been with me a long time. We're buddies. We're friends at basically every level. And I think the world of the drivers that we got. They're special guys. They take care of our customers, and they take care of us.
Well, we got them all. I know, I feel like I'm just the messenger on the new electronic logging systems because, it's the federal laws, and it's kind of like not to get into too much of a big subject here, but Sam, you spent over a decade on the school board, and all this hoopla going on around the country. We're not having that here because Sam led the construction of all new schools here in Longview, and so we've got anyway. But
what was your point, Danny?
my point is I feel like on a school board, every time anybody in a school district anywhere tries to set a dress code, somebody will push the limits a little bit. If it's a prom dress, somebody's, and it's just, and unfortunately, the world that these drivers are living in, it's a no tolerance whatsoever situation on these logs, and the supervision of them so that they can't fudge around the edges a little bit.
Well, back up. You're talking about logging rules.
Right.
Time logs.
Time logs.
Yes.
The driving
We talk
logs.
about all kind of logs at this business. I just want everybody to understand what.
Right. I'm talking about the life of the trucker. And so I've gotten a little education this week as I've implemented this new ELD system, going from knowing nothing at all, and I still wouldn't pretend to know a thing at this point. But I do recognize that the change is difficult for our drivers, and they face some particular challenges out there. But they're on that clock, whether they're at the wheel and moving down the road or not. Their drive time, if they hit traffic, and in the nature of a short haul driver, the reason these guys do this is they want to be home at night. They want to be home. They're not over the road truckers where they disappear and show up twice a month for a time. They want to be home at night. So when things go wrong, or even when they're unloading at your job site, it's important that they have access to those properties. Guys, when they hit a locked gate and they're out of cell range and they sit there for 2 hours waiting for somebody to show up, that's time that comes out of their life. That means when that clock runs out, and it might run out on a 2 hour or even 30 minutes, that they have to pull over and park, and they might have to take a 15-hour, whatever the rules are, and they're just
a 10-hour or a 36-hour.
Yeah, 10 minutes can cost them their entire weekend with their family.
Yeah.
So it is a big deal, and unfortunately, the monitoring systems on them are pretty much perfected.
Yeah.
So. It's kind of a stressful deal for them, I think.
Sure it is.
And I'm concerned about I don't want to increase their problems, but anyway.
We had to make the change.
We had to, but I think just doing this episode, just to let everybody know, like I say, we know their names. We know that we have lunch with these guys.
Yeah.
We see them every day, and that second part of expressing gratitude and the thankfulness for the things we receive, the beautiful part of those prayers, and for the hands that prepared them.
Yeah.
Well, these are the hands that prepare and get those log homes delivered. So
too true.
They deserve some gratitude and appreciation.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Danny, thank you. David, thank you for dropping in. Hope we got a lot more Macs in our future.
I do too. I appreciate everyone that you've done with us previously.
All right, I was going to try to say hello to everybody on social media today, because we've had Johnny Woods been watching this, and Danny Bound up in Utah. Lisa Solomon's been here today. Hi, Lisa. So we haven't got everybody conditioned where they're doing the chat with us, but we're going to try more and more on that in the future. That's it for today.
Thanks for joining us.